Hey everybody, Carlos here. So usually on this channel you'd be seeing the AMS movie review with myself and Many Ninjas, but I figured this time around, since I went and I picked something up, I would do, an unboxing, since I usually don't get too much of this. So what I decided to pick up is one of these. There we go. Let's put that in the middle. So that's the Super Retro Trio console. So I picked that up here at a local store in Toronto. So it ran me for about $69.99 plus tax. Now, I've seen actually a couple of reviews about this, and that's made me decide to buy it. But I decided to do my own little unboxing thing here because I'm just going to do a review, a short one. First impressions, I'll open this up, and then I'll actually end up playing some of the games. I'm taking this from the standpoint of somebody who played a lot of these systems back in the day, but really doesn't play that much anymore. Kind of life gets in the way and get busy doing certain things. At the same time, to be honest, I'm just not as passionate about most of the games. But at the same time, I still want to go back and play some of my old favorites. And this guy right here lets me play the Genesis, the Super NES, and the NES inside of one box. And I don't know if I can tell you guys, looking at it from a casual standpoint, if you're a hardcore gamer, you're going to buy these systems separately. But realistically, if you're just somebody who wants to play the odd game here and there, play some of your old favorites again for the first time in years, it's really nice to have one box that plays all these systems. And actually, I believe it also plays Super Famicom games. My younger brother actually is more of a gamer and also more of a game collector. So as part of this, we'll also be using some of his cartridges just to check it out and see how it plays. So enough of that. So let's pop this guy open and let's check it out and see what we find here. So the first thing actually when I was carting it home is I was surprised just how light the thing was. So there we go, instruction manual. It's actually pretty hefty. It's actually not too bad. So I guess it tells you, you got a couple of languages too. There you go. How to do the connections and the whole deal. Great. Alright, so we got our connections here. System. Now this guy is ridiculously light. I was gonna get the black and red one just because it looked pretty sweet, but the store was out of stock for that. In fact, the guy didn't even realize he had this one, so I managed to see it, and then I decided, well, what the heck, I'm already there, so I'll pick it up. So you can see there that it's got the power switch for the NES, Super NES, Genesis, and the off. Reset button, opening for the Genesis, Super NES, and the NES. There we go. There we go. It's got pretty good snap because it's new, so what the heck. And then the front pops open. So there we go. And this is actually one of the other things that drew me to this guy. It's just because it has the connections for the old Genesis, Super NES, and the NES. And it lets you switch the regions up here, which is kind of cool. Lets you play a whole bunch of games. So I can actually play the old controllers of this guy, which is great. I don't have any of the old controllers myself. But I can realistically, I can get my hands on a couple of them. The first couple of games I'll be playing will be with the controllers that came with it. So I'll try those out and see how they feel. So that's actually ridiculously light. So it's got the yellow, white, and red connections, S-video as well, for those inclined, and then your DC. So really, this is just a super light box. It would feel a little bit flimsy, but realistically, you're going to be laying it there most of the time. So unless you intend to shake this around and slam it, I think you'll be okay. Alright, so taking a look at the controllers here. Take a peek. So the system comes with two controllers. Alright. As you can see, this is a clone of the Super Nintendo controller, which is actually one of the features that I like the most in the reviews that I had a chance to watch. But I wanted to kind of see for myself how I felt about it. So, actually, yeah. I would say that one of the things that I agree the most, these buttons actually feel really good. For the most part, they feel a lot like the old NES controller actually felt. Looking at it with, looking at it as an adult, having played this as a kid, it's kind of weird. And I remember seeing this when I held a Nintendo controller back in my hand for the first time in years. Just how small these controllers feel, actually, in adult-sized hands. I don't have especially large hands, but it just feels like I can engulf this whole controller. These are definitely controllers made for kids, but they're still playable. You can definitely do, and these actually feel pretty good. So that's kind of cool. And then I think the other thing that I found was kind of interesting was that it uses the connector that's more of a Genesis connector. So it's kind of a weird amalgamation of the two, but one of the things that I saw was that apparently you can use the Genesis games with this, and the keys are mapped to allow you to use the Genesis as well as the NES, of course, and then the Super NES, because, you know, it's a clone of that, and then the connection is a Genesis port. So apparently I think you could also actually use this on a real Genesis, which would be kind of interesting. So there you go. Comes with 2 of those. And then of course it comes with your power adapter, which is actually really reasonable. This is actually great. Yeah. That's what's wonderful. Not having a big power block on this thing is actually really good. It looks like a cell phone adapter, basically. But it's just pretty straightforward. And then you got your pretty standard cables, including your S-video connection if you're so inclined, which is nice. That's pretty good. So S-video and, you know, yellow, white, and red, yellow, white, and red. So not too much to say there. This part of the video is going to be fairly short. If I ramble on too much, I'll just cut it down a little bit. But first impressions wise, it's pretty neat. I think it's actually remarkably light. More than anything, the surprising part to me was this guy. It is super light. It looks pretty sleek though, and I'm going to be kind of happy to the idea of having one system that can kind of play these games. And I'll definitely be interested in trying out some of my old games, and then also some of my brother's collection. We'll be playing that.
So that was my unboxing and first impressions on the Retro Trio console from Retrobit. Since I recorded the original video, I have had the chance to play with the console and with all the systems on the box, and found to my surprise that it works really well with all the systems listed, as well as the Mega Drive from Sega, much to my surprise, which actually wasn't included in the advertising for the system itself, but I was able to make those games work without too much issue. Overall, it's a great system for the money, if you want to be able to play games from all kinds of different systems without committing the space or the money to have all the individual systems, which is exactly where I fall under. I will say that almost every game I threw at it looked and sounded great, and I had a lot of fun going back and playing some of my favorites, and playing some Super Famicom games I never had the chance to play in the first place. So hopefully that gives you some idea what the system is about. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps out and lets me know if I should make more similar videos, and if you want a more in-depth review, definitely let me know. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.